Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Cassidy. If it's not, thanks for always tuning into my videos. Today we have a book haul. Someone needs to tell Cassidy that she has no space on her shelves for more books and needs to stop buying books. But at the same time, I'm very excited that I have new books. I'm gonna try and sort this into sections. I have some leftover birthday gifts, so those are the first ones that we are gonna get into. These are just birthday gifts that came after I did the birthday unboxing, so here we go. The first one I have is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. Everybody knows that The Poppy War is my favorite trilogy, but I actually only owned the first one. It's a series I read through audiobook and I just never bought the entire series, so I am very excited to now own the second, and I only need The Burning God for my collection. Thank you, Clementine, for getting it for me, and yes, better late than never. And if you don't know, The Poppy War is a series that follows Rin, who is an orphaned girl from the Rooster province, and she's kind of not meant to succeed in life because of her status and her race, but she passes this exam that she's not meant to pass and ends up with a scholarship to the highest military academy, where she kind of just has to prove herself again and again, and then it becomes a really, really hard-hitting, emotional military fantasy. And then we have The Spine of the Dragon by Kevin J. Anderson, which was gifted to me by Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. Spine of the Dragon, I have no idea what it's about. Politically charged adventure of swords, sorcery, vengeance, and the rise of sleeping dangers. Sounds good. So it sounds like thousands of years ago, the god created the first race, the Reth, who were beautiful and powerful in magic. The Reth needed servants, slaves, and soldiers, so they created humans who fought and died at their side. But then the Reths ended up going on magical warfare and killing their race off, but it's been thousands of years later and humans have flourished. They've built empires. All of a sudden a party of Reth rides out of the desert waste and up to the gates of the castle in a swirl of storm and crackling magic. The queen of the Rest demands the humans return to her service to wake the dragon and to slay him. Do I hear dragon? This one sounds just so good, and I trust Rachel. I love Rachel's taste in books. Rachel is a beautiful human being, and I'm so excited to read this. Then we have The Black Prism by Brent Weeks, which was gifted to me by lovely Sahar. Thank you, Sahar, so much. I'm honestly not sure what this series is about at all. I think it has to do with some kind of light magic, the magic of using light. It's called The Lightbringer. But that's as far as I know. I remember I was so pissed because I went to Value Village and I saw the third book used, really good quality, but I was like, I'm not gonna get it. And then I came home and I had a package and it was this book, and I was like, I should have got the third book. Because I'll never find it for that price, that good of quality ever again. Yeah, reading the back of this, I have no idea what it's about. Gavin Gill is the prism, but prisons never last, and Gil knows exactly how long he has left to live. When Gavin discovers he has a son born in a far kingdom after the war that put him in power, he must decide how much he's willing to pay to protect a secret that could tear his world apart. I know that there are some issues with this book. I know that there are some discussions about things that happen, things that are said in it, but it is a book that I still am willing to give a chance, and I will give my own chance before I make up an opinion on it and what has been said. Then we have A Touch of Light by Thiago Abdallah. Hopefully I said that correctly. This was gifted to me by Dom from Dominish Books. Thank you so much, Dom. It was for my birthday. This is in the current SBFBO 8 competition. I know it just got a raving review. I know there's griffins. I know everyone is talking about it. I think this is going to be a big contender for the winner this year. Haven't read it, but from what I've heard of it, if this doesn't make it to the semifinals or the finals, I will be literally shocked. I'm so excited to read this. How far would you go to resurrect someone you love? Would you change who you are to show you belong? From the back of this, we're following 3 protagonists. We're following Adrian, who is the prince of one of the domain nations, and church teaching says his grief is forbidden. But he will stop at nothing to return his loved ones to worthiness, even if it means sacrificing his own. Lynn is a rogue elite warrior hiding from her past, but now an old enemy is rising and running is no longer an option. Natasha is a gifted hunter hiding a terrible secret, a lifelong outcast. She desperately fights for belonging in the Ronar, a proud southern clan, yet a changing world threatens more than just her status and community. But now a terrifying foe creeps near, and the people of Aberon must fight to save it, before death comes for them all. Dive into this sweeping epic fantasy saga where religion and politics are one, magic brings terror into the hearts of men, and looming blight threatens to tear everything down. How does that not sound good to you? Honestly, if you are looking for a good self-pub book, I'm going to push this one. I haven't even read it, but I am positive that this is a 5-star prediction. This is going to be incredible. It's 400 pages, just over 400 pages long. It's not too long, and yeah, get your hands on this. Then I have Daughter of the Empire by Raymond E. Feist and Janie Wirtz. So this was gifted to me by Emma. Thank you, Emma, so much for all your love and support. I have no idea what this one is about. A magnificent epic of heroic adventure and dynastic struggle enter the mysterious and exotic world of Kellowin. I think it's very political. From what I'm getting from the back of the book is we're following Mara, the youngest child to the family of nobles, and she's about to pledge her servitude to the goddess when she gets devastating news about her father and brother's death in battle. Despite her grief, she's the only surviving member and she has to take up the crown and the throne. And she soon discovers betrayal at the heart of her family's loss, and Akoma's enemies have brought her house to the brink of utter destruction. An inexperienced political player must draw on all her wit, intelligence, and cunning to navigate the ruthless game of the council, regain the honor of her house, and secure the future of her family. But with assassins waiting around every corner, it might take everything Mara has to simply survive. This also sounds really good. Political fantasy to the T, and I'm so excited for it. I love a good political fantasy, and I really feel like I haven't been reading enough of them lately. So I know Emma also loves them, so I know that this one and the Goblin Emperor, when I'm really in the mood for a political fantasy, I will be picking them up. Then we have Prince of Spear by David Hare. This is the second book in the Sun Surge Quartet. The first one is The Empress of the Fall. I do believe that I actually didn't realize that this is a second series in a world, so I might actually have to go get the first series. I don't think you have to read them, but I may be read them in publication order. This one was sent to me by Marty. Thank you so much, Marty. She's a fellow Edmontonian, and I thought that was pretty cool, and thank you so much for sending this to me. I'm very happy that you said I filled some of your shelves with books, and I think that's pretty amazing. Sometimes you forget that just me talking into this camera has such a big impact on other people, and yeah, it's insane. Anyways. No sappy, Cassidy. I don't really know what this is about. I don't remember what the first one is about, but I bought the first one for my birthday for myself, and here's the second. It was definitely a cover buy for the first one, and yeah. There are floating pirate ships. And then we have Blood of the Chosen by Django Wexler, which is the second book in the Burning Blade and Silver Eye. This was gifted to me by my friend Destiny for my birthday. Thank you so much, Destiny. I love you. And I've already read this. If you haven't seen, I have a video all about why you should read this series. There's the first and the second book are out, and the third comes out next year, and it's absolutely incredible. The first book follows two siblings who are torn apart when they're quite young. One ends up working for the Empire, and one works to take the Empire down. The magic system is really cool. It is a genre-bending fantasy. There's bits of sci-fi, bits of horror. It's so incredible. Star Wars inspiration, a sapphic relationship. It's so incredible, and I just would like to say, read the series. I will link the video down below, which is a review, but also just like a, you should read this book. Spoiler free. Please watch it. Please add this book to your TBR. I need more people to talk about this series with before the next book comes out. And then we get on to gifted, but gifted by authors, not by all of you. So we have the entire Royal Champion series so far, which was sent to me by the author, G.M. White. Originally, he, a while ago, sent me this copy for review, but they got a beautiful cover art change. I really think the cover art change was well done. The author asked if he could send me his new one, The Swordsman's Descent, and I said, of course, I would love to read it, because I loved The Swordsman's Lament so much, but I didn't realize he was going to send me all of them, because I actually have already purchased these two, because I loved the series so much, so I have to figure out what I'm going to do with the extras that he sent me, or that I purchased. They're unread at this point in time, but I just think it is a very beautiful series. The Swordsman's Lament is a low fantasy murder mystery plot. It's just a fun time. It was a really just a good book for when you're in the mood for something fast, something quick, and something that is just kind of fresh, I found. It follows our main character, who is the royal champion to the king, but when the prince is murdered, he is set up and he has to clear his name and figure out who done it. It's set in like a medieval fantasy world. I really liked the character. I think that's really what got it for me. I listened to the audiobook and I loved the audiobook. I will definitely be reading the prequel, and I really do want to see where it goes in the second, because this is a lot chunkier, and I'm excited to see where we continue with our royal champion. Then we have The Legend of Blackjack by A.R. Witham. This was sent to me by the author. This is a YA thrilling fantasy adventure debut Jack Swift can tell you every element on the periodic table, recite Treasure Island verbatim, and would remember in perfect detail every word you'd ever say to him. He has been alone for a long time, so he's buried himself in books, using them to plan his escape, but no textbook could ever prepare him for the land of Kmart. At 3:33 a.m. on his 14th birthday, Jack is kidnapped by a hideous monster to another sphere of existence. Now there are 2 moons in the sky, and he's surrounded by grotesque creatures and magical warriors training for battle. They want the impossible. Jack must use his abilities to save a life, or be trapped in this bizarre world with no chance of rescue. Jack doesn't have secret magic, a great destiny, or any experience, so why do they all expect him to become a legend? The last line of that synopsis really gets me every single time. And I'm very excited to see where this book goes. I don't normally read YA anymore. I don't normally accept a lot of YA books from authors. Normally when they tell me their book is YA, I tell them I'm not your target audience, and therefore I can't willingly accept a copy because I'm not going to love it, because I just don't love YA, but I'm actually really excited about this one. It sounds good, and really thank you to A.R. Witham. I'm so sorry, I'm terrible at names. Really, really thank you to the author for sending me a copy. And then we have Winds of Strife by U.G. Gutman, the Dawnless Night series, book 1. This was also kindly sent to me by the author after he saw it in my last indie TBR video. I had the Kindle version on my Kindle app, and he was like, I'd love to send you a copy, and I couldn't resist because it sounds so good. I know he also sent Mel from Melanor Reads a copy, and she really, really, really enjoyed this, and we have very similar taste, so I'm very excited, and I know I'm gonna love it. This follows a world where witch hunts have plagued the kingdom for decades, and thousands have been slain in the paranoia of women being witches. But no more, because Nye and his companions have seen enough murder and misogyny. 15 years have passed since he joined the witch hunters, and now, at long last, the opportunity to destroy them from the inside reveals itself. An opportunity to overthrow the king and end his reign of cruelty. But 15 years of pretense have taken a toll. The strive for vengeance has steered Nye towards a path of violence and villainy. His hands are stained by the blood of countless innocents, his heart is scorched by grief, and his sanity hangs by a thread. Even if he can kill the king and see this revolution through, it may not suffice to purge the voices from his head. I'm really interested to see the conversations that happen in this book. I think this idea of setting off for revenge and joining the enemy ranks, and then spending 15 years within them, what that does to your mind, what that does to you as a person. I'm really interested by this, and I think it's going to be really good. I also really like this cover, with like the person and then a shadow and then there's someone here, and I'm really excited to read this one, and the author is a lovely person, so thank you so much for sending this to me. And then we'll move on to books I have purchased for myself recently. We have The Seventh Cadence by Jim Wilborn. Sadly, this book was not for me. I actually just read it for my SBFBO vlog, where I read books that have been cut from the competition already, but I do want to put it out here that it is very niche reasons to myself why this book didn't work for me. There are a couple archetypes of characters in here that just really don't work with my personal taste. For example, I just don't like wizards and I don't like seers in my books. They end up being plot devices to me that just don't work for what I enjoy in a fantasy book, and this is a book all about a seer and a wizard. So if you don't mind those things, please check this book out. Please check my review in the vlog about it. The Seventh Cadence is set in a world where the Titan Wizard had just up and left, and now there's people who either believe the Titan Wizard is going to come back, or there's people that don't believe in the Titan Wizard. So we're following our couple protagonists. Mainly we're following Naveed, who is a seer, and seers see very niche items. It's compared to seeing one blade of grass die, and there's also other people that see more things. They're not called seers, who is set on a mission to find this one girl who is the last of her kind. And then we have Telly, who is this girl. She is a keeper, and essentially she has kept all the knowledge that the Titan Wizard will need when he comes back. So that's as far as I know from it, and there's an invasion and freedom of the kingdom at risk, and each must find their place in a world torn asunder. The Seventh Cadence is a sweeping high fantasy epic of war found in family reckoning with fate. It definitely reads a little bit younger to me. It's probably a little bit in that new adult place, but yeah, definitely check it out. And of course, I really want to continue with the Dragons of Pern, so I bought Dragon Quest, The White Dragon, and the Harper Hall trilogy by Anne McCaffrey. These are the next books in the Dragon Riders of Pern series. I think the next one I have to read is Dragon Quest, and then you go on to the Harper Hall trilogy, and I love Anne McCaffrey's covers for these books. So we have Dragon Song, Dragon Singer, and Dragon Drums. And then you go ahead and you read the White Dragon. Dragon Flight, which is the first book in the series, was quickly one of my favorite reads of the year, so I had to continue. I really want to get them. I'm really annoyed that I can't find matching copies anywhere. I definitely prefer like this size. It's hard too because they're all technically different trilogies, so these are all different, and then this is a trilogy, and this is a middle grade series, so the covers of this one look a little bit different than any of the other covers. Lots of these are published by different publishers and all of that. It's been really frustrating to try and find matching copies. I might end up just going for these mass market paperbacks just because I think I will be able to get them all in this, and I do like the spines on these and the covers. Dragon Flight follows a world where every couple years things fall from the red star comes and falls from the sky and kind of destroys the world, but we have the Dragon Riders of Pern to come to the rescue, but it's been a long time since any of this has fallen, and the world has kind of stopped believing they need these dragons and these dragon riders. But when it starts to fall again, the dragon riders need to save everyone, but they don't have enough resources because no one has kept the upkeep up over the years. It's really cool, really interesting. If you like Aragon, I highly suggest reading it. If you like dragons, it's a classic dragon story, and I love the dragons in it. It's very unique, and I really, really enjoyed it, so I can't wait to continue. And then let's get into used books. So the first one is used, but also kind of gifted to me. This is The End of Her by Sherry Lapina. My boyfriend's mother reads thrillers, and she has nothing to do with them afterwards, so often she gives them to me. So I got this from her. I have no idea what it's about. She just said, I've read it, it was okay, do you want it? And I said, sure. But if anyone has read a Sherry Lapina, let me know. Let me know. And then I recently went to Value Village and I picked up Wings of Fire and Legends 2. These are both anthologies. Wings of Fire is an anthology all about dragons, and Legends 2, I'm not entirely sure if it's all dragons, but I know a couple of them are. I know that there is a Realm of the Elderlings short story and a Song of Ice and Fire short story in here. I don't typically pick up anthologies, but something about these really screamed my attention, and also I know that there is a to read short stories prompt for our fantasy bingo that I need to do, so I figured why not. They're used, they were cheap, and I need to start reading them because there's a lot of fun stories in here, I think. We have Holly Black, Orson Scott Card, Charles DeLint, C.J. Shirai, Ursula K. Le Guin, George R. R. Martin, Anne McCaffrey, Naomi Novik, Michael Swanwick, Roger Zeleny, and so many others in this one. And in this one we have Robin Hobb, George R. R. Martin, Orson Scott Card, Robert Silverberg, Tad Williams, Anne McCaffrey, Raymond E. Feist, Elizabeth Hayden, Neil Gaiman, and Terry Brooks. I know this one is short stories in the worlds that had made them big in the first place for the authors. And I also picked these two up in my latest book shopping with me vlog where I went to a used bookstore and I gave them some of my books for a discount on some used books from theirs. These are by Margaret Wise and Mistress of Dragons. It's a dragon book. I picked it up, really liked the cover, and I've been wanting to read a lot more classic fantasies, so I figured why not for a steal of a deal. I have no idea what this is about. A world where men and dragons coexist in political intrigue and dark magic, where the uneasy balance of power between the two is on the verge of coming undone, threatening to unleash waves of destruction that will pit humans against humans as well as dragons against men for the domination of the world. Humanity's very survival is at risk. The power to hold the chaos at bay, the terrible secret that maintains the balance, rests in the hands of the new and inexperienced Mistress of Dragons. And then we have Serpent Mage, which is volume 4 in the Deathgate cycle. I know nothing about the Deathgate cycle. This was just a steal of a deal that I could not pass up, and it's book 4, but I will attempt to get book 1, 2, and 3 used as well. I can't tell you anything about it because I don't want to read the back. The books I've bought lately for my Kindle has been The Promise of Blood, which is the first book in the Powder Mage series by Brian McClellan. I have thrown this series out a couple times in the idea that it might be a backlist book club pick, but I just wanted to get it. It was on sale. I needed to get it. The first line of synopsis really gets me, and it just says it's bloody business overthrowing a king. The book, I think, follows I don't really know a lot about this. I know that it is a flintlock fantasy, I believe, and that there are gods and that we're overthrowing a king. I'm gonna guess that there's going to be some darker humor as the likes of either Traitor's Blade or as dark as Prince of Thorns, I'm not sure. And I think that there's going to be a group of men, some mercenaries, some battles, some politics, some scheming, and I'm just really excited for it. And then I bought The Unconquerable Sun by Kate Elliott. I bought this because it is Maria's new book club. It is their first pick. I will leave Maria's channel and the announcement video down below. This is the book checkout book club, and it is bi-monthly. I think we're reading this in September. I'm not entirely interested in this one. It is a sci-fi, but it was on sale, and so I figured why not? I might try it, and I might try to join them for the book club. And gender spun Alexander the Great on an interstellar scale. A space opera we've all been waiting for, and I know Emma has been asking me to try space opera, and I know Emma loves this one, so this might be a sci-fi that I give a go. Another Kindle book that I purchased was The Bard's Blade by Brian D. Anderson. I actually saw this in chapters one day and thought it looked good, but I didn't want to splurge for the paperback, knowing not a lot about it, but it was only $5 on Kindle, so I picked it up. We are following our two main characters who live a simple life in a land magically sealed off from the outside world, where fear and hatred are all but unknown. Their destiny has never been in question. They've always known whatever comes they'll face together, but when a stranger comes into town, things go crazy. It brings a dark prophecy that forces Lem and Mariah down separate paths. How far will they go to defeat this evil and save their home? And then I also bought the next book in the Winnowing Flame trilogy, The Bitter Twins. The Ninth Reign is the backlist book club pick currently, so I'm reading The Bitter Twins literally currently, and I loved The Ninth Reign. I have no idea how to explain this to you. We're following a big cast of characters in this world that is dying. So there are like poisonous things because every couple years there is this reign of aliens that comes to like literally just destroy the entire world, eat everything on it. But the vampire-like, godlike creatures always come and save the day, but the vampire are kind of dying off, and there hasn't been a reign in a long, long time. But something has happened and the Ninth Reign has come, and there's no one left to save the day but our protagonists. I really, really enjoyed this. It's another genre-bending fantasy. There's a lot of sci-fi in it, even maybe a little bit of horror, and it was a 5-star read from me. I'm very excited to continue, and yeah, that is all the books I have recently purchased. Technically there's 2 on the way, but you can see them in the next haul. I need to stop buying books. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a bug emoji. Any kind of bug emoji. And if you'd like to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my Goodreads, and my Patreon are all linked in the description bar below. Have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.